the reality? What's the reality?
Hey y'all, and welcome back to What's the Reality? It's your girl AD. And a week or two ago, I got to sit down with the lovely ladies from Love is Blind UK Season 2. And y'all got on my case about there not being enough time and we want more and why didn't you ask this and blah, 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 blah. Listen, y'all, I said in the comments, but they asked me to be a part of their junket. And if you know anything about a junket, it's short amounts of time. You ask a few questions and they kind of move on to the next interview. So I was fortunate enough to do that. But now we got our girl Sarover here to answer a few more questions. People are so curious about you and the show and your life past show. So let's all say hi to Sarover. Welcome back, girl.
Hey, everyone.
So happy to have you back. So catch me up. Like, what's been new since the last time we spoke?
So since the last time we spoke, I've been on an emotional journey. It's been very busy. It's been a lot to process. I feel like I've been grieving a relationship, but not a person. So sort of just managing a lot of emotions. But I've had so much love and support. So I've been kind of sat on this cloud nine and just taking it all in. So it's been absolutely beautiful.
Have things like kind of calmed down for you, or are you like more busy than ever?
I'm so busy. Like I have to schedule when to like eat and sleep, and then sometimes I have a nap in my car because I put on the heated seats and I'm there all cozy and I'm like, oh God, what is happening?
No, I know that after show rush is insane. And like I'm loving seeing you all over social media and getting to tell your story and just shining so bright. And every time I go in the comments, they're like, she's such a princess. And I'm like, yeah, she's literally the people's princess. Just so beautiful, so stunning. But I feel like we didn't get to hear much about your career on the show. You are a medical company owner and a former competitive kickboxer. Is that correct?
That's so true. I literally have the trophies here next to me.
That's so funny. Wait, tell us more about that.
So I grew up very sporty and I used to do a lot of gymnastics, a lot of netball. And then my dad was like, look, I've got 3 girls, bringing them up. Like, these girls need to be street smart. And I'm a little bit like airy-fairy at times. So I could be walking in the street and there could be like 10 people behind me and I actually would have no idea.
Yeah.
So he was like, right, you girls, you're going into kickboxing. And I found this love for fighting and I became very competitive in it. So instead of doing like the gradings in kickboxing, I went into competitive fighting and basically went around the UK fighting people.
Wait, that's so dope.
I know. So, and my kick is like my sort of go-to. I'm not very good with punches. Like my arms, like my biceps are a little bit, they're like baby biceps, but my leg is good. Like I can really kick.
Do you still fight?
No. So I had to make the whole choice between education, going into sports, because my sports took up so much, but I just loved educating myself. So I would be sat here I say sat here because it's the same desk I used growing up. And I would be sat here studying for so many hours. So I had to make that decision. So I went down the education path.
That's so cool. So who has been here for you this past year? Like, what has your support system looked like?
So I really had to rely on my family and friends because it was a tough time in January. I don't want to say breakup because it was the end of a marriage. So I say more so the end of a relationship. And it was really like my mum, my sisters, my closest friends. And obviously you can't tell everybody either because the relationship was a secret because it doesn't actually get announced till a year later. So it was actually my gym friends who were really there for me because I go to the same gym every morning. I've got my group there and they knew everything. So I was actually there the next day after it ended and tried to go in at a different time. Nobody would be there and ran into one of my friends. She was like, how was Christmas? And I just started crying. It was horrible. And I was like, why are you here? Like everybody's normally here in the morning. It's lunchtime. So and she was there. And from that day, I realized I need to be vulnerable and I need help. And they were there for me.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
You talked a lot about finding a new self-confidence after the show. Can you share what that journey has looked like for you?
So basically, after the show, I didn't realize how much there was going to be a South Asian representation. And I was having people come out to me through messages, like literally strangers telling me how proud they were of me and sharing their stories. And when I was going through all of it, I thought, oh my goodness, like they don't feel like strangers. They feel like people I've known for years because we were connecting on a different level.
Hmm.
So as I was going through all this and they were saying, we're proud of you. Thank you for speaking up. Thank you for bringing these topics to a platform where we can talk openly. And I was like, but this was just a journey. This was just my life. I wasn't
Hmm.
ever thinking going forward what this could do for others. So when I got that, it kind of sparked this sort of passion in me that I need to talk. I need to
Yeah.
get these taboo topics out there and to start trying to normalize so much that happens where dating's not seen as something normal sometimes that an Indian girl might do. And
Yeah.
so yeah, so that's where the confidence comes. So I get really passionate when I talk about it.
Oh, that's amazing. So, what actually made you sign up for the show initially then?
So, growing up, I was brought up quite traditionally, where I had a lot of expectations when it came to not even dating, just marriage in general. So, when I would go out to date, which obviously I found uncomfortable in the beginning, it was following a tick box exercise. I knew at the back of my head who my family would be proud of, who I would bring
Hmm.
home, and
Hmm.
ultimately that'd be the person I marry. And I tried that for years, and I realized, like, why am I not really falling in love, or why am I not feeling an emotional connection? And then it dawned upon me, and I was like, I'm 29. I'm now single because I actually got ghosted the beginning of last year.
Oh no.
And then I was thinking, yeah, it was we can forget him. That's fine. But yeah, I literally ghosted and blocked, which was so out of the blue. And I was like, I need to do something different. I need to put myself first now because I'm not falling in love by following this expectation, this tick box. So the show for me was I can actually be myself, put myself first, and I'm not going to have these voices at the back of my head thinking, I need to make sure I find someone that everybody else would be proud of for me. I
Yeah.
need to find someone for me.
Hmm.
So when I went on, I was basically, I told myself and promised myself, be vulnerable, be open minded, and lead with an open heart and try to drop all the voices.
Yeah. Were you a fan of the show prior? Have you did you watch it before and stuff?
I watched the American ones, the American seasons,
Yeah.
and I thought it was the most brilliant concept because there's so many successful marriages from it. And I was
Mm.
thinking, oh my goodness, like you can build an emotional connection and it can be that strong
It
that
can
you
work.
do marry
Yeah.
someone. And we are seeing people with children, like couples with children later. So it was one of those shows. And obviously, then I watched the UK one and saw what happened from that. And I thought, this is the only place I can think of that maybe it could be for me that this could happen. So I had a lot of hope and faith.
Yeah.
Definitely went in with hope and faith.
Yeah, that's so relatable because I literally, because I was season 6 and I watched all the
Yeah.
seasons prior and I was like, you know what? If it could work for these people, and maybe it could work for me. I mean, thank God it did not. It worked out the way
Yeah.
it was supposed to. But I went in so hopeful as well. So that's so relatable. Did you have any
Yeah.
other connections on the pods that we didn't see?
Yeah, so I had some really good connections and it was interesting because my connection with Cal was strong from basically the very beginning.
Hmm.
And he was always there. And when I would talk about him, like everybody would say, like, you smile so much, there's this energy about you. But they kept saying to me as well, like, when I'd be in the girls' lounge, I'd be like, but Sarover, you have to date everyone. That's the point
Yeah.
of this experiment
Right.
as well. So yes, I did have good connections, but Cal was like my strongest, yeah.
Can you say who?
Yeah, I have a top. Yeah, so Jav was one of my top. Patrick was one of my top, and Demila.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay, you had a little roster.
literally, and yeah, and me and Demila are really good friends from it. So
Yeah.
it's interesting because when you build emotional connections, you almost feel like you can kind of talk to these guys at a level where it's deeper friendships. And
Right.
yeah, it's really nice because I don't have many guy friends, so that definitely came out from it.
Okay, I love that. Okay, let's talk you and Cal for a bit. You
Okay.
mentioned during our chat that there were red flags you noticed watching the show back. What was the biggest ones that you kind of noticed?
So I think one of them for me was I have to say from the very beginning, it was the when the usual type came up when we were on the
Mm,
holiday.
mm-hmm.
And for me, anybody having a usual type, that's not a red flag. Everybody has a usual types, someone or a type of person maybe they're attracted to, a personality they're attracted to. So that's not a red flag. What I felt was a red flag is when you've been proposed to, someone's seen what you look like, and then their usual type is based on what you actually look like. Like, I can't change what I look like.
Right.
And I think when that came up, it was like I could just see myself in that episode when we were at the pool party, completely just going to a shell. And those insecurities I've had growing up, I could just see it all over my face. And I thought, oh my goodness, Rover, did he pick up on that? Did he reassure you enough? And behind closed doors, he did. But I feel like it's a red flag in the fact of, you know what I look like. So maybe don't say it too much to me. So that was one thing. And I thought, and now when I look back on it, because I didn't feel like I was heard much in the relationship after we got married. And I think that was an element there where that was noticeable. I'm emotional. I'm going into a shell, but I don't feel like I had somebody who really was there for me. So that was one.
Yeah.
And then, but this is why when he reassured me enough, it wasn't enough to say I can't marry this person. They're not emotionally going to be there for me. It wasn't enough at that time. I think another one was it was the love languages. So I grew up quite conservative to the point like when my mum and dad used to hold hands or kiss, I'd be like, ew, that's disgusting. Like even when I was a teenager, I would say it.
Right.
And actually in my teenage years, yeah. And with Cal, I said to him, you know, I think we've got similar love languages. But then as I was falling in love with him, I realized like physical touch is one for me. I like holding hands in public and the odd kiss here and there in public. And I feel like when I saw the camera, at one point we're on and Matt and Emma walked in when we were on holiday, and I think I put my my hand out to reach his, and he batted it away.
Yeah.
I didn't pick up on it at the time because then in the next scene, cameras are on us. He's holding my hand. So again, there was elements there. I thought, oh, is off camera, on camera the same person? So yeah, there were sort of elements there, and I think there was a few little things that were mentioned, such as you know, the bride wears white or ivory, and he thought he could, I don't know what the exact words are, and I know with him he would pull up the exact words, but something along the fact of, why not let me shine in the moment? And I felt like, yeah, maybe that moment was trying to be taken away a little bit.
Goodness. Okay,
but
so
you see it when you look back, when you're out of love, when you're in love, sometimes you just don't notice.
Yeah, hindsight is definitely 2020. And it's like a lot of people imagine like in real life, off camera, being able to look back at all of your relationships and seeing all the things that you missed, how different you would move in dating. You know what I mean? That would actually be pretty crazy.
I think it would be crazy because it would be like a Black Mirror episode, but then also you would learn so much.
So a lot of fans and people that were watching the show were very uncomfortable watching Cal meet your mom and sister, and you shared with me during our last chat that you were a bit uncomfortable as well. What were you thinking in the moments watching that conversation unfold?
So when I watched it unfold, you can see it in my face when the things get mentioned. You know, I'm a Southern girl. I think something to do with my accent, and we're both into fitness. I think I'm looking like, please give me more to work with. Like we're now with mum. This is our moment. Yeah. We're trying to get her blessing. So you can literally see me looking like this can't just be it. And honestly, it wasn't, because that dinner must have spanned over about 4 hours. So those things were mentioned, but I'm an intelligent girl. I wouldn't allow that to be the only things. And my mum's clever too. She would not allow that to be enough for her to give her blessing. So there was more to the conversation later. And it was enough for me to be like emotional. Like you can see in my eyes that I've obviously been crying because it was really beautiful. And mum had enough to be like, do you what, give me your hands. You've got my blessing. Let's do this. So there was more to it. But obviously at the beginning, it comes across frosty from mum's side because, guys, she's a mum and her daughter's just said, hey mum, this is my fiance, we're gonna get married in a couple of weeks, like be on board. But she's like, it's the first time meeting and we've got to ask some questions. So it came from a place of love, respect, and being protected. But my mum's amazing in the fact that she would always hear you, she works with you, but she would never be like, if she felt it was a no, she wouldn't turn around and say, well, I'm not agreeing, that's it, and putting her foot down. She's not like that at all.
No, she seems so sweet. And your sister's so funny, like her facials. She reminds me of my sisters too. My sisters would be looking at me the same exact way, like, okay.
It's the eyebrows. Honestly, Sharon and her eyebrows are iconic.
There are a few TikToks about her.
When we saw the TikToks, we could not stop laughing. Like, I think we were on the floor laughing.
So
And I was like,
funny.
Sharon, I was like, do you remember what we were communicating about? And then I was thinking, oh my God, we've done this so many times where we're sat at dinners or
Yeah.
in family functions where you can't say what you want to say, but you
Uh-huh.
kind of like, you give the look. And I think
Yeah.
it was a good look. Like,
Sisters
you done
know.
good.
Yeah. So when you met Cal's family, his brother said he didn't think it would work out because he couldn't see Cal putting someone else first in his life. Did Cal tell you about that conversation, or did you only find out when you watched the show?
I found out when I saw, I think it was the trailer, and
Mm.
it came up, and it took me by surprise because it was done in a way where I thought it was done a bit insensitively. And then when I
Mm-hmm.
watched it, I was like, oh my goodness, his brother was so right. But
Mm-hmm.
Cal didn't tell me any of this. That was done privately, and his family were very much supportive of us. They were rooting for us as two individuals coming together as well. So they saw, how we worked as a couple, and they loved that. But in hindsight, even if his brother said that to me, when you're in love, you
Yep.
kind of feel that, but he's with me now. Like, maybe he can change for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I think either way, I respect his brother for being honest, but I don't think it would have changed me in that matter of time in the experiment the way the nature of it was.
Yeah, I feel that. Did you have any doubts going into your wedding day, like about yourself or Cal?
I was honestly one of the despite little moments and you're trying to figure things out, but overall I was in one of the happiest places I'd been. And my leading up to the wedding, there was no worries, concerns for either of us. We were excited. I wasn't even nervous. Like, I was honestly just so chill, so
Yeah.
happy. The
So
most nervous bit was me trying to find an Indian bridal gown the day before I flew out.
yeah.
That was the biggest stress of my life.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So you've kind of touched on it a bit, but can you walk us through what happened the day Cal told you things were over?
Oh God. So it was the 2nd of Jan, and I had come downstairs and he was just chilling on the sofa, and he just said, oh, can we have a chat? And I was like, yeah, of course. I actually thought we were talking about what we were about to do at the gym, like the workout, because I was already ready thinking that's the routine. You wake up, we go to the gym, and then we walk to Tesco's is a supermarket here, get our breakfast. I genuinely thought that was it.
Mm.
And then he was like, yeah, so we're gonna end this now. And I'm looking at him and I was like, "And what?" And he was like, "Us." And I was like, but why?" Like, I just was in shock. And I'm still standing there. And he was like, "Well, I know this will come across a bit cold and a bit sudden, but it's best to do it now." And I was like, and I'm looking at him and there's this blank emotion, and I've never seen him so cold before. Like, looking at his eyes, I would never forget what
Mm.
I was looking at. And he just said, and I said, is there anything we like, why?" Like, I was just saying why, because I just
Right.
didn't understand.
Right.
And then he said his three things. And the three things were, we're different people. I'm more emotional and affectionate, and there's no spark. And do you know what? If I'm gonna be honest, when I heard that, I thought, is he even talking about us?
Right.
It didn't resonate with us at all from what I had experienced. And he never raised a concern, a worry, a doubt through our entire relationship. I would ask him weekly because we were so used to this open line of communication. Like, is there anything we need to talk about? Is there anything we need to work on? He'd be like, no, no, no. To the point he would be like, look, if there's anything, I'll speak to you. So to go from everything feeling like strength to strength on his side
Mm-hmm.
with me to all of a sudden do that, I just didn't get it. And then I said to him, like, can we talk about it? And he said, well, and the way he looked at me, I was like, you've made your decision. That's
Right.
it, isn't it?
Right.
And I was like, and he goes, look, look, I'm going to go to the gym, but you can sit here and chill. That was the line. You can chill here. I'm going to go to the gym. And I just looked at him. I thought, no, I think I need to go. And I remember just packing up my stuff because it was next door, got to my car, and just I had to de-ice it because this was a big thing at the reunion where he said, "Oh no, it wasn't even winter. It was winter. I was in the north in winter."
Uh-huh.
So I'm standing there de-icing my car, and he was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." Because I thought, if you told me I'm emotional, these tears are going to roll straight back in my eyes until I'm
Right.
in my car.
Right.
As soon as I got in my car, that was it. I broke down, and I just remember I drove home for about 4.5 hours, and I called my mum. She actually laughed, thinking it was a joke,
Mm.
until she realised I was being serious. I called my sisters. I was just a mess. And when I got home, I just couldn't believe it. And it took me 3 weeks to actually process, no, he's done. He's not. The only message I got from him initially was a few days later. And he didn't even check with anybody. He was on all my family group chats to see, did I even get home okay? 4.5 hours during winter time, and there was nothing. And then, yeah, he messaged me, and the last line of the message was, have a happy or wealthy, healthy 2025 with a kiss.
Did you reply?
I don't think I did initially. That was the message that came a few days later on the Saturday, I believe. And I took 3 weeks to really process it all because I thought, he's just had a freak out. He's going to contact me. We'll talk it through. At least talk about the concerns, like what happened. Because if you're really in love with someone, you have at least a conversation. There's something. And you try. Give it a chance, try. And if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work.
Right.
And I know some people say, if you're going to break up with someone, then it's always one-sided. It's not like you're going to chat to be like, I'm thinking of breaking up with you. That's
Right.
not what I'm saying. You were in a legal marriage. You have just said your vows 3 months ago, 91 days ago, and you're telling me without one conversation you just walk, and that's normal.
No, that's not normal. Not even a little bit. No.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
it didn't, then I started to question everything. How genuine was this relationship? Was there even true love? And honestly, January was such a dark time for me because I just saw this future. Because when I said I do, I was looking at a future with this person.
Right.
I was not looking at in the moment, oh, it feels good the past few weeks, let's just go for it. It was a future that I was basically realizing everything's just crashed and burned before I turn 30. And I know life does not end at 30. Actually, life begins at 30. But that's what was happening.
So what do you think his Cal's true intentions for going on the show were?
So obviously only Cal can speak for that. What I feel like is if you genuinely have fallen in love with someone, you'd at least try. Trying means have open lines of communication. If there's anything you need to work on, you would say it to that person because you're scared to lose them. So I don't think there was an element of being in love with me, but I think there was an element that he loved me. I also feel like because he then says, I'm happy to be on my own, I'm content to be on my own, I don't think I can have somebody else in my life long term, and I would struggle to ever put someone first before me. His brother said it, Cal confirmed all this. Then it felt like if you knew this about you, then why did you marry me? Marriage is the biggest commitment one can make to somebody else. Which means you're saying for the rest of my life, I want this person in my life as an equal. They're going to do life with me. So I almost felt like maybe I was an experiment for him in the experiment, in the fact of he thought he was in love. This was all new to him, and he was just going with it and seeing, can it work for him? And I feel like maybe I was just a bit of a bystander in that.
Right. And his own personal experiment.
Yeah, it's sad because he's learned from it now. He doesn't think he wants to be married or in a long-term relationship, but it took me and I know I've mentioned the word, it took me as collateral damage in that, but I know I'm not collateral damage. It's just that's how it felt at the time.
Yeah. You shared that you didn't feel like an equal in the marriage and your voice wasn't heard. What are some examples of that, if you have any?
For example, one was, okay, we literally gone on the honeymoon. It was a week later, and obviously, yes, he's announced it was a 5-star honeymoon, which he paid for. So I acknowledge that.
Yeah.
And on that honeymoon, we basically started talking about where we're going to live because you've just got married. My expectation of what a marriage is you do live together. And that's what we discussed in the pod. So everything happening afterwards was nothing new I was bringing up. And he basically said, well, if you don't move to where I live, which is about 4.5 hours up north, then we might as well just end it now. And I was like, I freaked out a little bit because I was thinking, what? Do you love me? Because you're happy to just drop this now if I say, well, no. But what it was he had agreed, and we had both agreed, we would do a couple of months or a month where I live and then where he lives, and then we will make a joint decision where we feel like we should move to.
Right.
So it's not even rushing it. And that was a moment where I realised, oh, it really is his way or no way. And then a month later, in November, I bring up the conversation again. I said, okay, well, we should start looking at places to move into. Like rental properties go very quick in the UK. And I mentioned that, and he started to basically say, like, this is all too fast. Like, how can you expect this to be a normal marriage? Like, we didn't meet in the normal way. And I said to him, like, okay, look, don't freak out. Like, I'm just saying, like, we should be looking at some point. And he was like, this is too much, and basically put the phone down on me. And then the next day, obviously, emotionally, I thought, oh my God, like, is that it? Are we just, are we over, sort of thing? And then the next day, I obviously spoke to him and I said to him, I said, okay, look, let's compromise. If it's too soon now, how about in January, we start looking at places and then we eventually decide when to move in. He goes, okay, then by your birthday, which would be March, so
Mm-hmm.
before my 30th, we'll move in together. So there was compromise there, but was it truly compromise when you end it at the month we're supposed to be looking at places to move in together?
Right. Do you think
So
had he like if he didn't end things when he did, how much of Cal, the person that you knew, could you have taken? And do you think that you would have eventually ended things, or do you think you would have just kind of
yeah,
stuck it out?
that's a really good question because I learned I would have allowed myself to go to a pretty dark place and probably
Mm,
would have stayed in it longer than I should have done.
yeah.
And what I've learned now is do not allow yourself to ever be jeopardized for love. You may be in love with the wrong person, and that's what I've learned that's happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
So going forward now, my biggest lesson is keep speaking up. If someone's not going to hear you or someone silences you, then you're not in the right relationship. Just because they switch it the next day and make it all good again, or, you know,
Yep.
it can kind of get manipulated a little bit. So you think, oh, maybe it's just me. I've learned it's not just me.
Mm-hmm.
Your feelings are validated, your emotions are validated, and you should feel seen and heard. And if you don't, you are in the wrong relationship. And I had to learn that the hard way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you think that I don't know how to like break it down further because it is hard when you're in a marriage versus just a regular relationship. And now looking back, are you happy that he kind of broke things off when and how he did?
Yeah, because I became a shell of myself,
Mm-hmm.
and I had a lot of family and friends telling me, like, you're not the same at the moment. And I wasn't really eating much. I wasn't really doing things I enjoy. I was getting a little bit obsessed with the gym. I was falling into maybe his world a bit. And when I finally came out of that, I had to honestly build myself up, and I realized how much of myself I had lost. So, in retrospect, and he actually said, he goes, if you moved to Wigan, you would have ruined your life.
Oh, wow.
And maybe he noticed what was happening by putting himself first. He saw me decline
Mm,
because it was a marriage. The person I had fallen in love with up until the wedding day, I would still pick that person over and over again. From the wedding day afterwards, I would never have picked that person.
right. Whew. Okay, let's talk
Yeah.
reunion for a little bit. How was the reunion for you? What was kind of going through your head?
Oh God, that's one heavy topic to the next heavy
I
topic.
know.
The reunion, honestly, to this day was probably, besides the day he ended it, the most traumatic day of my
Oh
life. That
no.
honestly was the hardest day because I hadn't seen him since the 2nd of January, and I hadn't heard his voice
Mm,
since the 2nd of January. So but what I told myself is if I've put my relationship on a public platform and I put it out there, we've got people watching now, that people are watching us, they're rooting for us, they've gone on a journey with us, they're falling in love for us, and they want us to be together. And some didn't as well. So they're probably hoping that, oh, I hope she found her voice, or I hope she saw certain things.
mm-hmm,
So I knew I owed it to everyone to just find the courage, find the confidence, and sit there and tell my truth.
mm-hmm.
That's what I felt. And it was, I've learned not to be a people pleaser, but in that moment, I realized I owed it to everyone else. So I was shaking, like I couldn't even hold my goblet because my hand was just
Yeah.
like this the whole time.
Yeah.
And I didn't even want to look at him because I was like, I had to like look through him to the point he could have had, I don't know, blonde hair. I would not have even noticed. But
Uh,
yeah, it was traumatizing. Like, I actually had my legs so far over to the other side that when I got off the stage, I was limping. Like,
yeah.
my mum literally had me in one arm because I was like, I can't even move my leg anymore.
Oh, did you do like mental preparation for that? Like, I know you said you felt like you kind of owed it to the people, but was there anything that you were
Yeah.
like, I have to make this point and I have to say this and I have to, like, was there anything that you did prior?
Yeah, so when I started to see the comments come through for the public and everything like that, and the way they were rooting for me, I was like, okay, with all the expectations I had, and I was like, right, I've broken culture here, I've broken expectations. I need to now have a voice here because there's women out there who may be following a lot of expectations with their family,
Mm-hmm.
falling in love with someone that they probably didn't expect or their family didn't expect for them. But I need to show them just because it didn't work out for me, my messages still stand true.
Mm-hmm.
That you can't say love has boundaries in terms of your background, your skin color, your culture, your financial status, none of that. Yes, we have to use our mind to make sure, you're going to be in a stable relationship,
Right.
but I still needed to prove my point because these conversations, I didn't want families or, relatives or friends to turn around to someone and say, well, look, see, told you so. She went
Mm-hmm.
and did that and it
Mm-hmm.
didn't work out for her. So let's just go back, traditionally and stick to what we know. That's not what I wanted. So I knew I needed to just stay focused, find that confidence and really say it and use myself, unfortunately, as an example, but for the right reasons.
Mm-hmm. Do you feel pressure or are you embracing it?
There's a slight bit of pressure. The
Mm-hmm.
pressure is I don't want to let myself down now. I don't want to let anybody else down. I just need to do this appropriately and get the right voice, to get my voice out in the right places. So there's an excitement there, there's a passion, but also, yeah, of course I'm nervous because I don't know where I need the right support. So
Right.
I'm just really taking my time to find the right people who can help me to do that.
I love that. So
Yeah.
have you spoken to Cal since the reunion?
So after the reunion, he tried to meet up with me to have coffee, which was obviously never going to happen. And he did want to speak to me. And I just, what was left to say? And I did
Right.
say it to him. I said, look, I've said everything at the reunion. You've heard me, all of this. But he still wasn't hearing me. And we had a wrap party the week later, and I could tell he wanted to talk to me. And I thought, okay, I can do this. I took him to a side and I was like, right, again, you've heard me at the reunion. You've heard me say everything now.
Mm-hmm.
In retrospect, do you realize that maybe you loved me, but you weren't in love with me? And that basically went nowhere. Then I said to him, going back now you've learned what you've learned about yourself, would you say that maybe you shouldn't have married me?
Mm-hmm.
And probably said no. And he said, I would still marry you. And then I was like, you haven't heard me then.
Yeah.
You haven't seen the emote. Like, for you, someone to say that and still with the same outcome, like, what do you do with that? So then I thought, okay. And then I just said, look, I wish you well.
Mm-hmm.
I know you wish me well. Let's not get nasty about this.
Mm-hmm.
It's on a public platform.
Mm-hmm.
You do you, I do me, and that's that. We'll leave it
Mm-hmm.
there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that was kind of it after that. Yeah, I've not wanted to reach out. I've actually had to block him on socials now because
Block.
yeah, because you know what it is? It's toxic
Mm-hmm.
and that chapter's closed. I have to accept that too. So
Mm-hmm.
for both of us to accept that, let's each other live our own lives now and be respectful of that. And I have to. I have
Yeah.
to. I've never been this strong before to do stuff like that. And I've had to learn that inner strength is needed.
Yeah, I feel that. Where are you guys in like the divorce process right now?
Okay. So, because we got married in Scotland, we did not know you have to wait a year to get divorced.
Whew.
There was a thing called an annulment, but if I'm going to be honest, we don't stand grounds for that. But
Mm,
also, I do want to make a point that, well, because obviously I would go down that route if I could, but divorce is okay. It's sometimes part of certain journeys. Sometimes, we feel as women it taints us a bit, but I want to show that there's life after that. It does
for
not take
sure.
away from you. It does not make you any less of a person going into future relationships. So I stand by that. And this is why I will be going through with it. I have asked, can I please file? So I have some sort of control again.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to wait till the 1st of October to actually file, which would be our 1 year anniversary. So
Okay.
I'm technically separated, I
Okay.
believe.
Okay. Okay. Noted. So who from the cast have you stayed close with?
Oh, so many of the girls. Barda, Anu, Yolanda, Laurie, Katisha, Ashley. Megan, gosh, so many of them. There's
Yeah.
honestly, it's such a good sisterhood with our cast, which is absolutely amazing.
That's the best part. Like sometimes I just remember after my journey being like the girls are the only things that are like holding me up right now. And
Yeah.
if you leave with nothing else, if you leave with that sisterhood, I feel like that's a win.
It is amazing because you go into it not expecting to form such friendships
Hmm.
because when you're in the pods, it's kind of like there's a little bit of a competition there, I
Yeah,
guess,
for
because you're all
sure.
dating the same guys. So to go from such a situation like that and to have these girls standing by you, supporting you and understanding you, that's amazing. So
Hmm.
if you don't end up with a true love, you can definitely end up with friendship love. And
For
yeah, that's
sure.
special.
For sure. Okay, so I have a question for you.
Okay.
Would you ever go on another dating show? And if so, which one?
Okay. So I may have put out there a few times that, I probably wouldn't go on something like Perfect Match because
Oh,
I know, which is so bad because you and Ollie are a success out of it. So now I feel like I can't even say that. But I feel like it just has to be intentional dating.
uh-huh.
Like I was ready for marriage. So going forward, if there is a dating show out there which has a similar concept and
Hmm.
stands true to me as a person and my morals, then yeah. Because we've seen, I don't apparently don't know how to kiss a guy on camera. So that's the most of you're gonna get out of me as a little peck.
Yeah. Maybe Married at First Sight.
I
Not your thing.
no, because again, let me at least pick the guy this
Yeah.
time.
No, I feel that. So speaking of picking guys, are you currently dating anyone? Are you single?
AD, you know my journey. I've not been ready this year. No,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm ready now, but
Hmm.
that's taken time. So I've had to work on myself, heal myself, because
Yeah.
to find the right person, you have to be ready for it.
Right.
So I am ready now. But no, there's no one there.
Okay. So what would you say is your biggest takeaway from your Love is Blind experience, and how are you taking that into future relationships?
So my biggest take home is to follow my heart. Go in with an open heart, an open mind, because you never know what's going to happen.
Hmm.
And going forward in future relationships now and dating, I will speak up. I'm going to ask the right questions and I'm not going to shy away from anything. I think I was a bit too trusting and
Hmm.
took everything face value. So now if somebody says, I've had several exes, oh, I've got about 10 questions in my head to ask them
Right.
why now.
Right.
So yeah, that's what I would take going forward because me going in openly and being vulnerable and dropping all my sort of expectations allowed me to fall in love.
Hmm.
So I'll continue doing that.
That's beautiful. Okay, let's switch gears a little bit. As you know, Love is Blind season 9 is dropping October 1st, and the
I
cast was just
heard.
announced. I thought it would be fun for you and I to read through some of the guys' official taglines
Okay.
and get your reaction. And then we can see who is like future husband energy and who's not.
Oh, love this. Okay.
Okay. So the first one is Nick, and he said, I move fast and I hope you can keep up with me. Is that hubby material or not?
I'm not sure. I feel like that's like a crazy dating roller coaster and you're gonna have so much fun, but is that like the aisle needs to be smooth? You want to be walking down a smooth aisle.
I
So
move
no, I'm
fast.
not sure. Not sure about that one.
I feel like he's on the perfect show for somebody that's going to move fast. Like Love is Blind, it all happens in a matter of weeks and months. So, you know what? Good luck to him and whoever needs
Yeah.
to keep up. Then there's Deo. He said, too much negativity gives me the ick. A man saying the
Oh.
ick gives me the ick.
Too much negative. Yeah, I'm not gonna because life has a lot of negative. Like, what is negative for you? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not too sure about that because that's triggering for me. Because I remember Cal saying there's too much negativity where I am, which is
Uh-oh.
why he didn't want to come down and talk to me. So
Triggered.
I'm a bit triggered by this one.
Uh-oh. Yeah. I don't know. I'm interested to see what is his level of negativity he can take. Okay.
Yeah,
Jordan said, I take a lot of pride in being a dad.
I love that.
Hmm.
Yeah, because I think raising just from not from obviously my own experience, but what I see, if you can raise a child, that's unconditional love,
Hmm.
and you have to put a lot of work into that relationship as well. So I think that anybody who's a parent will have great qualities that
Mhm.
some of us wouldn't even know about.
And being open and
Yeah,
honest about it up front. Like, say it,
correct.
let us know now. I don't want to hear
Yeah,
about
I'm
it in
rooting for
10 weeks
him.
after. Yeah. Okay. Michael says, I want somebody with a beautiful soul.
Oh, Michael, you're ready. You're ready to be at the altar tomorrow. Yeah, I love that. He's dating the soul. That's special.
You
There's
felt
me
that
being
one
like,
on a
6 weeks is too
spiritual
long. Go
level.
tomorrow.
You love that one. Okay. And then finally, we have Joe. He says, I can burn down the house at karaoke.
So where are we going to live tomorrow if the house is burnt down?
I don't know what that has to do with being a husband, but I guess it means he's fun. I don't know.
Yeah,
Okay,
it means
Joe.
he can sing. He's fun. He'll have a good time. But you need a house. Don't burn it down.
I hope he sings in the pods. That always goes over well.
Oh, that would be nice. Yeah. We never know. We might hear that.
Okay. Are you going to watch this season 9? Are you excited
Oh,
about it?
100%. 1st of October. It's in my diary.
Yeah. You have October 1st is a big day for you.
Oh, yeah. Already. See, I'm healing. I already forgot.
Oh my God. This has been so fun. I'm so glad we got to circle back and get this time because the people were really in an uproar. They were really upset at me. So thank you for taking the time and coming back
Oh,
and sharing your story. I think you have the most amazing personality and I think you're going to go pretty far and love is definitely going to find you.
thank you. No, this has been amazing. And I'm just so happy to have had the time to talk to you and you can
Yeah.
hear more. So thank you.
Well, this has been wonderful and I'm sure our paths will cross at some point. Thank you guys for tuning into another episode of What's the Reality. Be sure to follow us on all social platforms at What's the Reality Pod, and I will see you next Wednesday. Bye, y'all.
What's the reality? What's the reality?